Students and faculty alike are speaking out against the University of Notre Dame for defending its decision to appoint an abortion advocate to a prominent position. The university recently announced Associate Professor Susan Ostermann will serve as director of the Leo Institute for Asia and Asian Studies beginning this summer. Some faculty members have been very vocal, asking the university to reverse the appointment. At least 2 scholars have already cut ties with the institute. Ostermann has frequently supported abortion in her published articles. In one column, she calls abortion freedom enhancing and decried what she called forced pregnancy and childbirth as violence. Notre Dame has defended its decision to appoint Ostermann, saying in a statement to our sister news service, the National Catholic Register, quote, "Those who serve in leadership positions at Notre Dame do so with the clear understanding that their decision-making as leaders must be guided by and consistent with the university's Catholic mission." One Notre Dame student called Ostermann's appointment a slap in the face to women at the university, writing in a letter to the editor for The Observer, quote, "Until it begins to defend the sanctity of all life, mother and baby alike in all of its actions, Notre Dame can never hope to fulfill the singular duty it bears to its female students as Our Lady's University." And that student joins us now from South Bend, Indiana. Lucy Spence is a junior at the University of Notre Dame and the editor-in-chief of the Irish Rover, an independent student-run publication dedicated to preserving Notre Dame's Catholic identity. Lucy, thanks so much for being with us. You say that the appointment of an abortion advocate at a university dedicated to Our Lady is especially astonishing. Can you expand on that point?
Yeah, well, first, thank you so much for having me on today to talk about this. When I first heard about the news, it was astonishing, obviously, first because Notre Dame is a Catholic university, and as such, it should adhere to, Catholic doctrinal teachings. But I think more importantly, and this stands very true for me as a female student, and I think for all female Catholic students in Notre Dame, we're a university that's named after a mother of an unplanned pregnancy, right? We all exist today because Mary said yes to that call to life. And so for Notre Dame to appoint someone to a leadership position, someone who's virulently and hostily against the pro-life movement is really just a betrayal to its own name.
Lucy, Father Wilson Miss Campbell, Professor Emeritus of History at the University of Notre Dame, told EWTN News what action he would like to see happen. Let's take a listen to what he said.
I think we face a situation here where the fellows of the university have to step in and encourage our president, Father Dowd, to direct the provost to rescind this appointment. Failure to do so will put at risk Notre Dame's whole reputation as a serious Catholic university committed to the sanctity of human life.
Lucy, what do you make of what Father had to say, and what role do you think the university's students have to help sway the university's decision here?
Father Miss Campbell couldn't have put it better. I think the reaction that we've seen beyond campus has been really encouraging, right? People of the Notre Dame community beyond campus has kind of been up in arms with this whole situation, but I think we do need to see more action on campus from students. So I'm encouraging friends, send emails to Provost McGreevy. He's the one who is largely responsible for this appointment. Send emails to our president. This really is a decision, right, that's in the university's hands and the administration's hands. And so hearing from the student body constantly that, we're not happy about this is really important, in addition, right, to all the backlash that they're facing on the national level.
Ostermann has claimed that the pro-life cause is rooted in white supremacy. She's criticized pregnancy resource centers for supposedly pushing propaganda. You've hit on this already a little bit, Lucy, but can you speak more to what the student reaction has been to the appointment? What you're hearing from your peers?
Yeah, from my peers who run in like my Catholic circles of friends, people are very upset about this. It's really seen as a betrayal to the students here. Notre Dame is not, right? The administration is not leading by example. We're constantly, as students, we're getting the message, be a force for good in the world. And then we see actions like this. It's just totally hypocritical to everything the university tells us about what it means to be Catholic. So I think students are less aware of the issue than the national scene seems to be. And so again, that was part of my motivation in writing that letter to the editor. Students really need to be aware of this. I think for the most part, though, like Catholic students in particular here, they're very upset.
That's really interesting. And the University of Notre Dame was in the news this week for another reason as well, Lucy, when more than 2,000 students gathered for Mass outside of an ice chapel on campus. Crucifix, candle holders, altar, all sculpted out of ice and snow. And Lucy, I think many people were struck by the dichotomy of this news. You know, on one end, what appears to be a really prayerful student body here. And then on the other, you have this controversial appointment at a Catholic university. Can you reflect for a moment on the duality of those two things happening at once at Notre Dame?
Yeah, that event was just wonderful. I was there. I attended the Mass. It was one of the most beautiful and most pious Masses I had been to. It was a really striking example of the vibrant faith that's here at Notre Dame. And right, yeah, this is something people are commenting on. I like to say Notre Dame, walks a tightrope between its identity as a Catholic institution and then its identity as a secular research institution. And those are two identities that are constantly at odds. Being Catholic and being an excellent academic university obviously aren't at odds, and those two are completely compatible. But the way that Notre Dame chooses to find that, to kind of find that unification of the two is not correct. And the Ostermann example is a clear example of that. So the student body is very, very faithful, and I think the university on the administrative level has a difficulty in living out the Catholic university.
Lucy Spence, thank you so much for your voice and for joining us this week. Thank you.
Thank you.